That's a hard button to push.
You are, in fact, watching The Dorkening.
You're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned.
For all the geek news everywhere. Dorkening.
And this is The Dorkening. Trust me, I'm smarter than these guys.
Because The Dorkening is the best and most educational entertainment and information source that the Trauma team knows of. It's the best. The Dorkening.
Hello, dorks. Hello, friends and family, various gamma radiated peoples out there in the interwebs. You're looking at this face and you're like, where's my Leo? What is it? What has been done to my Leo? And I have some news for you. He's not here today, but my name is Parasite Steve, aka Steve Van Sanson. I am a host of the Retro Reductibus podcast. We are on the Dorkening. We are just happy to be involved with this awesome network, and I am happy to be here tonight because Leo had something to do, and I am standing in his stead. So I'm going to do my very best to run this show for you guys tonight. So this is Splash Pages. As you know, we are here talking She-Hulk. This is part 2 of Splash Pages She-Hulk comic versus the She-Hulk show. And tonight we're going to be talking all about the Dan Slott run of the comic. So before we get into the discussion of the evening, I would like to introduce to you your normal hosts, the guys you actually want to hear talk and actually, like, you know, you're used to their. My face is so shocking. You're like, I don't know what to do with this. But this guy, you know, Mr. Velvet Joker, Rich Davis. How's it going, buddy?
It's me. It's great to be here once again. Rich Davis, aka Velvet Joker, the Throwback King, here on the award-winning Splash Pages every Tuesday night, coming to you at 8 o'clock. Here we are, in the place to be. Going to talk to you about some She-Hulk. We got our buddy Steve Van Samson subbing in for Leo tonight, and the regular crew is here. Where's the crew? Where are they at? Are they up? Are they down?
Wait. Drew. Hello, Drew.
Oh, where is my Leo gone? Oh, where? Oh, it's Steve's here. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Hi, everyone. We're talking about Dan Slott She-Hulk. As Rich said, we've got Steve being our fill-in Leo, our fake Leo, our Theo. I'm not good with names, but we're excited to be here. I'm pumped. But then so is the next guy, which that. God damn it. The next one.
Oh,
Hey,
look,
ladies
vital
and
information.
Welcome. No, it's not vital. It's my cannabis card.
Oh,
Medical information. No, hey, welcome to Splash Pages. We're here. We're back. It's another week. She-Hulk has aired another episode, and we're going to talk about it.
Heck yeah, we are.
I don't have much, Steve. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's okay. That's
You
okay.
you had a lot of energy. Like, I have to say, I was a little worried because like we usually have a commercial, and I get to share more during that. But your words kept going, so I had plenty of time.
I'm gonna try my best. If I screw something up, you're just gonna have to send me hate mail, maybe poop grams, something terrible. Just
So I have a question, Jeremy. Why did your photo look like a ginger version of Dante from Clerks?
It does, doesn't it?
It really does. Like
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Like, you know what? No. You look like that actor who was the manager from the Flight of the Conchords, Murray.
I get a lot.
Yeah, you're Murray Hewitt. Prisoned.
The band
Jermaine?
everybody hates. Another weird thing. Like Nickelback, the guy from Nickelback, I get a lot.
You are handsomer than that,
especially
guy,
when
okay?
I have longer hair.
Have more self-esteem than that, Jar Jar. Come on.
I like Nickelback. I'm sorry.
He's just an objectively ugly man. I mean, there's yeah. You don't want to know.
So
I would stick with the Clerks guy.
I look like him.
No. Stick with the Clerks guy. No. See.
You're not even supposed to do today, but this is how you remind us of that.
Yeah.
So,
see, I would have gone. You just kind of look like an off-brand Weasley. That's what I would have said.
Oh well, I also got a lot of Malachi back in the day when I was younger. Okay. That sucked a lot.
So
we're here. We're here to talk She-Hulk, obviously. So we got some comments. So I'm going to try to be as good of a Leo as I possibly can, and try to keep up with the comments as well. Sean Curtis is here. He says he was a fan since he was a kid, big Hulk fan. Hey, Sean, how's it going, buddy? And Super Retro Throwback Reviews is in the house. Says, good evening, guys. Good evening, Super Retro Throwback Reviews. Hello. Thanks for hanging up. Oh, Sergio. Yes, Facebook user. My name is Sergio. Well, that's great. Good for you, Sergio. I appreciate that you told us. Welcome to Splash Pages, buddy. We're hanging out. Howdy ho. So we're here to talk about Christmas poops and various other difficult things that we don't necessarily want to talk about. Some things may involve twerking. Divisive things like twerking scenes. So we have seen one more episode.
Why are those divisive scenes? I'm so confused.
I have no idea.
Steve, before we get into She-Hulk, teaser.
Now, hold on. Did anybody recognize? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rich.
Have a few things happened this week in the news, perhaps, that we should discuss?
Oh, yes.
Right.
News.
Okay.
Good, Rich.
That's right. You guys do news. Well, all right. So let's do news. Here's one that broke today, Velvet, that I think may introduce you. I know you already saw this, but how do you feel about DC officially finally naming the Joker? We finally have a real name, supposedly, that we're all supposed to go by and say, yeah, this is who we used to be. Not Arthur Fleck, not Jack Napier, but some other guy. Do you think it needs to be said? Like, is this something you want as a big Joker fan? Like, what do you think about this?
Well, as you just mentioned, we already have some names for Mr. J. But the beauty of Mr. J is that even Mr. J doesn't know who Mr. J is.
I also.
So them coming up with another name, it bears little weight for me. Jack White is I believe that's what
Jack Oswald White.
Jack Oswald White. Okay.
Or Jow for
I
short.
didn't read the article. I don't know what the storyline or the history of it is.
It's it's supposed to be all right. So we're in one of the opposite universes. Martha Wayne is Joker in this universe, mind you.
Okay.
Check it. And
Flashpoint?
she's Flashpoint. We're talking to why his name's escaping me. Father Wayne, Thomas Wayne, and she's explaining to him about these other universes and how she sought out the Jack Oswald White of their universe, and he was a failed comedian and happy with his wife and kids. And she wanted to change time in this universe and have both of them die and their Bruce live, because Bruce in this universe is dead.
So again, this is something that can just be explained away with an Elseworld, Otherworld, Universal.
Well, no, actually, she claims that she came to the main universe to speak to Jack Oswald White.
Jow, yes.
Jow.
I think it's going to catch on. I'm
coining that shit.
Yeah, no, I think you should put it on shirts. Use the right font, and people, it's a purple shirt. Jow.
Jow now, Jow forever.
Maybe a card on there too. Maybe the Joker. Maybe I don't know. Could
the
be
Ninja
another
Joker?
card.
Maybe the Ninja Joker.
Drew.
I think Drew has his hand up.
Yeah, I do. I'm trying new things. So I want to put my 2 cents in. I'm a little dubious about this, more for 2 reasons. One, the point of the Joker, is like Rich said, is that you can choose the origin story you like. Personally, in terms of the Joker, my de facto always favorite origin story was always The Killing Joke, because I thought Alan Moore did a great job of explaining kind of really how he became to be, but again, in a way that he could really be anybody. And that was the point of the character, is he changes his narrative so many times that Rich said he doesn't even know who he is anymore. Then that's the point, is the Joker could be any of us. And that was always his thing, is
one bad day. Just one bad day.
One bad day. But the more point that I personally don't feel it'll stick is because of how comic book writers now handle continuity. I feel they look at it is like, let's put it this way. This is your desk. You fill your desk up with all sorts of things and items and whatnot. When you get let go, your desk is cleared, and then it's now somebody else's desk.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel they look at continuity. It's you build these things up, and then someone's like clones, time travel, aliens,
some things they're like, well, that was a story.
Eventually, it's all just going to get unwound, because you got to keep everything fresh. We can't, and then it's just that back and forth of trying to push new ground, but keep the fans happy. And it just always feels to me like going back and forth over the same 10 feet. And I'm glad DC is taking chances, but the point of it is that it's going to stick as much as a dart with a suction tip on a window.
So what you're saying is nothing matters, story non-story.
What I'm saying is
I'm calling it marketing ploy.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's just
people are going to rush out to grab that book.
And sell books. I mean, I honestly, I'm not going to read it. Like, I'm not going to buy it. I'll read it probably because my job. Will I? Again, it's just like, okay, like, fine,
right? And I mean, it's the same thing. Marketing ploy, totally. Like, it's the same thing when they kill a popular character for the first time. Death of Superman, death of Captain America, death of whoever you want. Like,
absolutely.
So, totally.
So general consensus is no major impact.
Nobody's skirt has been blown up.
Been under the belief too that there were multiple Jokers throughout the universes. Or universe. Like,
the whole 3 Jokers storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so not gonna really make that much of an impact. I'm pretty ambivalent. Not much of a DC reader these days. I pretty much, I'm a Green Lantern guy more than anything, but that's I'm with Rich, and I want the mystery. I think a lot of stories are better when you don't know them. And then you can wonder about them. And just like Darth Vader, like we didn't need to know Anakin. We didn't need that. It's fine. You can like it. It's fine. But like, did we need it though? Did it make Darth Vader cooler to know Anakin was a whiny bitch? Like it didn't. It didn't. Like, you can like him, but just saying. Sometimes less is
dark side. Falls in line.
It's the magician's conundrum, Steve. You like the trick, but when you learn how to do it, the mystery.
Right. All you want to know. You want to know how it's done.
To that man behind the curtain.
Yeah, you want to know so bad how it's done, and then it's the second you learn, it's not cool anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. So
totally.
That's really what it is.
Good point.
But there always will be great Joker stories, and maybe this will stick. Maybe it'll fade. Maybe it'll find an audience. Comics are like that these days. We really don't know what's. But again, the rule of thumb is if it makes money, they'll keep it up. So,
right. Totally.
Yeah. Cool.
Speaking of if it makes money, they'll keep it up. The opposite tends to be true as well. So we had word this week that Taika Waititi is not returning for the next Thor movie, whenever that is. If it ever exists, who knows? Supposedly due to poor reception of Thor: Love and Thunder. So I know Velvet hasn't seen Love and Thunder yet and is not looking for a bunch of spoilers. Jar Jar, you got something to say? How do you feel about this, man?
That man is doing so many projects. I can understand him giving up the Thor thing, being like, you know what? He's got like two or three TV shows going right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he had fun with Thor. Why not pass it on to the next guy? I mean, that's always been what's fun about comic books is you get each person's interpretation as it goes on.
I mean, especially with somebody like She-Hulk. I mean, we were talking last week about the John Byrne run, and I mean that was so incredibly different from what came before with Savage, and so incredibly different from what we're going to be talking about later tonight with Dan Slott and her many appearances with different teams, Fantastic Four, Avengers, all that stuff. I mean, unless it was Byrne's Fantastic Four, then it kind of checked. But yeah, exactly. A lot of characters work really well if you allow them to just be malleable. Others are like pinnacles. You're like, okay, Captain America, but there are characters that you expect to be a certain way, and other ones, I don't know. It's like Spider-Man. We want him to be a certain way, right? Like, but plenty of characters. It's like, yeah, that kind of works. Thor worked well for a certain thing. Let's try different things. Seems like they've tried something slightly different with each of the Thor movies anyway. With him, tonally, it's always a little bit different than what came before, what came after. But it is what it is. That's the reporting. Supposedly he is not back, so I don't know how people feel about that. I personally, without going into any spoilers, I'm a big Ragnarok fan. I think it's one of Marvel's best movies. I love it to death. I was not a fan of Love and Thunder. It definitely let me down. So I think that I think maybe sometimes with these directors, the first one they do is like, they're trying a little bit harder. And then I think in this case, this felt like a unfettered Waititi, where he's like, all right, I did the first one to prove something, to prove I could do it, and to make everybody happy. And this one, I'm just going to be unrelentless in my style, and screw it. Who cares? It is what it is.
What it kind of reminds me of what you're describing, kind of like what Tim Burton did with Batman. Like the first one is very much a Batman movie, but if you see more see some Tim Burton flair, and then Batman Returns is a Batman movie, very clearly Tim Burton movie, and people were like, okay, this is a little too much, Tim. Right? And then like nipples on the batsuit, and then
I had fun with Tim. I thought Tim's second movie was fantastic.
Oh, I agree. I did too, but I see what you're saying, Drew. I mean that one is much more unrelenting Burton. It's just unfiltered. And he's like, he murders people now with like a crazy smile on his face. He's the Joker now. Like,
I agree with Sean's little comment. I don't know if you guys can see that on the side. He says, I want to see movies of Marvel or DC superheroes that don't get as much shine or none at all. I actually prefer the way Marvel's doing, and I hope they continue with this, where they just release TV series and then
Yeah.
save the movies for like teams or something like that. Some
Big
kind of
event.
like, yeah.
They are doing a great job. It is interesting having not seen Love and Thunder, and I did see an article a day or two ago. They were saying that James Gunn was kind of throwing shade at Taika Waititi without saying his name, that he got lazy. But now it's all coming together in my head because I wasn't aware of anything else. I wasn't aware of that some people were unhappy with his performance, but like you said, he's busy with other projects, so I don't think it's any skin off his back.
Oh, for sure.
And
listen, everything is a learning experience,
right.
I think what he does and what we do in the shadows, I mean, he's knocking it out of the park. It's hilarious every episode.
I
So
cannot.
it's not like he's lacking talent suddenly.
Rich, I 100% like tell people all the time, if you want a great show, that you don't need to watch the movie.
Not really.
Which is also really great.
Also great.
It is indeed.
What we do in the shows every week, I'm thoroughly impressed. Like I just watched the latest episode.
No spoilers. I'm a couple episodes behind.
Jeremy, listen, the latest episode has a celebrity cameo that is so fucking funny. And
Dude, I didn't know that the Baron there. I just found out the Baron is the same guy that plays
It's Doug Jones, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I had no idea. His performance
I didn't realize that.
So different than anything else he's done.
He's so good.
He really is. He
if
is.
You need a skinny, weird,
for real,
play a creature, Doug Jones is your guy. I mean,
he was
him riding on the golden retriever that breathes fire. That's fucking hilarious.
And if you happen to be in the New England area, Granite State Comic Con in a week and a half, Doug Jones is going to be there.
I might.
He is so pleasant.
Doug Jones is going to be there, and so is Kevin Eastman.
I'm going to be in Virginia this week.
Yeah, you're going to be at the Tidewater Horror Con.
That's not this coming weekend. That's the 16th, 17th, I believe.
But like, I'm going to be dead by next weekend. I got like 12-hour drives.
And again, with Taika Waititi, I liked his Thor. I'm still going to see Love and Thunder because I always believe you should make up your own opinion. You shouldn't just judge it. The opinions of others,
Absolutely.
unless a movie is just so slammed.
I mean, I'm going to see Morbius eventually. I'm going to see it eventually.
Okay, I didn't do Venom 2.
I didn't do Venom 2 yet either, but I will.
Me neither.
Or Black Widow.
Steve, I'm warning you. Please have booze while you watch it. I did. When I watched it,
it's Morbin time.
Morbius.
when it is indeed Morbin time. Sean Curtis in the chat room. He's just blown it up, which we appreciate. Sean, thank you so much for all the comments. He's asking, what do we think of Titans on TV? I have never seen Titans. I only recently got HBO, so the show that I started with of the DC shows was Doom Patrol, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So I'm almost at the end of season 2 with Doom Patrol, but Titans, what do you guys think?
I think we're on the 3rd season, I believe we've had.
We are.
And I think that the first 2 seasons were stronger than the 3rd. Some decent. I mean, it's kind of CW-ish.
I felt like the first
CW-ish.
season was good, but like I felt like they were relying too much on the shock value of things. Like, dropping
like that F-bomb in the trailer. That is just try hard
that's
stuff.
Cool,
that's
you can swear, but like
amateur hour, right? Oh, fuck Batman. Oh,
but like,
look what I can do.
I'm sorry, but someone did a great edit of that. Is after he said that, they queued up "Wake Me Up Inside" by Evanescence, and I was like, "Well, this actually really works." It was so funny because he's like, "Fuck Batman," and then Amy Lee just comes in. I'm like, "Okay, this I approve." Like hands down, fitting this teen drama, darkness. I was like, working. This works.
So,
this can work.
All right. So, but you guys think thumbs up for Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol.
You like Doom Patrol?
Great.
So, what did you guys think? It's green. Let's just stick with it. Did you see the Swamp Thing one that was like super short?
Yeah.
How was that?
Great.
It was all right. I would definitely
I liked
left you wanting more because like Blue Devil. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
As a horror fan, I thoroughly appreciated it, and I definitely agree with Jeremy. It definitely left me wanting more. Like for me, I've always gravitated to the weird comics. Like when Doom Patrol came out, and I found out they're following Grant Morrison's run, and it is just off the rails. I'm like, this is fine. This is just embracing the weird, both hands open, take me now, and the wheel at the same time. You know,
True. That's reminding me. I guess Brendan Fraser, who we know is in
Robot
Doom
Man.
Patrol as Robot Man, just got a standing ovation in Cannes for his new movie, The Whale.
Yeah, 6-minute standing ovation.
That's news. Hey, we didn't put that out.
So listen, the man went through a tough career. He he did The Mummy, and
Encino
then
Man.
after that, things kind of fizzled for him. And I think he was sexually assaulted by a director.
It wasn't a director. It was like the guy who's the head of the Hollywood Film Association. It was some very important person,
some high-powered guy that affected him deeply, and he got injured. I think on a film, he hurt his back. At the same time, his wife is divorcing him, and he wasn't making the money he was used to. So this is like a really big comeback for him to be able to afford life again, to be able to to be his normal self. I guess is a bigger man now,
and it's really disappointing that it looks like we'll never get to see him as Firefly in the now canceled and shelved and somehow
deleted, possibly maybe deleted.
Yeah, and like honestly, it's going to be one of those things.
It's like one of the.
It's like it's been retconned. I feel like it's one of those where
at the Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, did Batgirl happen? Like this is kind of like in that same.
It's weird, yeah.
Oh, dude, like a total Mandela effect.
Right. Wasn't Michael Keaton going to be Batman in like 2 movies that were going to come out or something? Like, is that just a dream I had, man? Like,
no.
But let me see if I can find my my cannabis card. Where's my?
Is there any chance that this whole Batgirl thing though is a marketing ploy that they wanted to get all this like negative thing like they did?
No, I think they just something happened behind the scenes and they just hit the brakes. They pumped the brakes and like 180. I don't know.
That dude canceled like a bunch.
It's really weird, but
you know what I find is amusing is that these people, to them, to us, I've never held $90 million in my life. Like, to them, they're like,
you haven't?
Yeah, I listen. I know with all of this, you'd think so.
It's just such a common thing. I just assume all of us.
I put it all in my.
Drew, you got to stop writing about comic books, and you got to write independent books like Steve Parasite.
I'm sorry. Is this where I put my monocle? Right here.
right there.
right here.
I mean, just this fancy Triceratops mug that I'm drinking from. This is like a $300,000 cup.
I'm just gonna keep drinking.
It's lined with actual carbon from an actual Triceratops asshole.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep drinking out of my Ravenclaw water bottle for my girl.
You're Ravenclaw, huh?
No, I'm a Hufflepuff, but she's a Ravenclaw. But back to my point, I don't. There's not really much news this week, right? I feel like
the only one other quick thing. No Way Home came back out in the theaters. It's got Spider-Man No Way Home. It's got 11 minutes of extra footage. Basically, everybody's saying. For super fans, it's there. They put some of the deleted scenes back in. If you really loved it, go see it again. It's fun. It's not the better cut. I haven't heard one person say that it was the better cut of the movie, which makes sense, right? I mean, very rarely are director's cuts truly better. It happens. The one I always go to is Alien. I think the Alien director's cut, it added one scene back. It's a better movie.
I hate to say it, but the Snyder cut was way better than the original.
Oh, I think that's that's a good point. It's pretty unique circumstance, pretty different than most times. But this, it's just a matter of a few deleted scenes were edited back in, so it breaks down to be about 11 minutes of extra footage. Apparently, it has a different deleted scene, ending credit scene or something. But
cut was better.
that is true. They added the Coolio subplot back.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah,
it was better. It was. You're right. I would agree with that. So, all right. If anybody has anything to say in Spider-Man, no. Nobody cares.
I'm ready to cry again, Steve.
No,
I love the movie, but I'm not going to pay to see it again. I did see it 2 or 3 times at the theater. I think I saw it twice. I saw the Batman 3 times, which makes no sense. I'm much more of a Marvel guy, but
Steve, that's 9 hours.
I know it's weird. I got bullied into the 3rd one like hard, and I just caved. And
I've met you in person. I find it hard someone can bully you because you don't like. You don't understand, everybody.
I did love the movie.
He's very confident. He's very authoritative, and he's very take charge and
very bald, extremely bald.
He's got a good goatee, bald,
good baldness, good head for baldness.
Luckily, very, very take chief, and it's one of those where he's one of the few people, I will say this, that because I know I can be a lot, he reels me in. I'm like, yes, sir.
He's the lead singer of Anthrax.
Yeah, and it's
Scottian.
It's just so funny because he told me, he's like, dial it back, Drew. I'm like, yes, sir. And he's like, I'm not mean. Like, you're hilarious.
Never said that. I've never said that. So before we reel it in, Drew, and get on to the topic at hand, for God's sakes, let's. So one more quick comment from Sean Curtis. Says he wants to see different versions of Venom movies. I think that is a must. We need. It's fine. Like, you can be a fan of Tom Hardy's Venom movies, no problem. First, I'm not gonna decry anybody for liking anything really, unless it's like real Nazis. I mean, dude, a movie. You love Jar Jar, it's fine. Hey, I have a cool story about Jar Jar. You want to hear it real quick?
Sure.
So on our podcast, the Retro Octopus Cephala podcast, we a couple of years ago we had on shameless plug. We had on Terrell Whitlatch, who is the concept artist for all of the creatures in Phantom Menace, and she actually designed Jar Jar. Like, she did like hundreds of sketches, and she was like literally the one who designed Jar Jar. And I am not a fan of Jar Jar, but I do actually kind of come to the defense of the character, because I think that the way people treated Ahmed Best was disgusting and terrible and awful, and absolutely reprehensible, and it makes me hate being a Star Wars fan. And also, I know that my girl Terrell Whitlatch, who is just a gem of a human being and talented beyond all reason as a character designer, she also handled all the when they put the original movies out with the new footage, the special editions, like where they redid the dewback, and they added like that scene in A New Hope with the stormtrooper on the dewback. Like, she handled all of that.
I think.
Oh, I love her. She's the best.
He loves those original versions.
Oh, me too. Oh yeah. Oh, I hate the special editions. The dewback looks great though. That dewback never looked better. Yeah. That dewback was money. But anyway, so just a quick aside. So
I still believe that I started the whole
he's a Sith.
Rumor of him being a Sith. I don't care. Like, I was before Robot Chicken. I have commissioned artwork from artists of him being a Sith Lord before those episodes.
That's your little claim to fame. Jar Jar. I thought he was a Sith before Robot Chicken.
Do you know that? Bitch. Do you know that Weird Al song, "Lame Claim to Fame"? That's yours, buddy.
Yeah, it's
probably.
All right, so let's get going. It's a little past 8:30 now. We are here to talk about She-Hulk. Specifically, we're here to talk about episode 3. If we want to talk episode 3, it's been out for almost a week. And the Dan Slott run of the comics from the early 2000s. I believe they came out about the early 2000s. 2004. I have some comics I can share with you guys as we talk about those as well. So we can do what Leo does, and we can just kind of pop some comic pages up there and talk.
I'm going to go against the twerking thing right now. Look at what she's wearing. Like,
Yep.
look at the nipples. I mean, you got it all there.
So
I'm like, people are complaining about her twerking in a pantsuit, and
Look, I mean, you can. There's a gap. The
Yeah.
artist gave her a little bit of a thigh gap, which is so extra insane
yeah,
because it's She-Hulk.
well,
Because she's got all the muscles there.
one of the lines on the top of the, when you open the book and it's like introduces each, She-Hulk, the blah 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 blah. She's the sexiest, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, and we're having a problem with her twerking.
So we can get that out of the way. You want to start with the episode, and we'll.
I mean, it's like we might as well, and then we can get into the book, because I have
Yeah.
to say, reading the book, I saw so much more of that in the show, and that made me happy. Like, because I didn't even realize that one guy, hey, here's the basket with the
Pug.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was like, she
Pug
called
Pug
me,
Liazy.
"You're Pug." I'm like, yes, I'm rooting for you, buddy.
It's the best bathroom for pooping.
And it's funny because when the intro mentioned a shapeshifter, I was like, oh my god, is that going to be Ditto? And
Yeah,
totally. I kind of want to see Awesome Andy. I know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
There's no precedence for him because we don't
I
have.
didn't even know he was until I read this.
Yeah, I think the thing what I really enjoyed is that while the book was because when we were talking about is I had read that first. So Steve, I never read any of John Byrne's run. So
okay,
again,
so that was your intro.
Yeah, that was my
Okay.
Because I had to write an article about the famous She-Hulk sleeping with the Juggernaut thing, and I was like, I don't know anything about this beyond whatever I could find on the internet. I was like, okay, I'm going to read all of Dan Slott's run, and I realized that was a horrible idea because I'm a completionist, so I read 12 issues and then 34 more, so I read like 48 issues in like a week, and I felt like Clockwork Orange with She-Hulk. I was like, oh my god, why?
That's a lot of information to take in 1 week.
I know. And I wrote the article, and it was very, very well liked. Although my editor yelled at me. I was like, 650 words. You gave me 768. Like, why? And I'm like, shit, he's right. So I spent like another hour fixing it. But my point being is, I liked this side of it because I did love Cosmic Journey. Steve, I'm still hoping Henry Cavill is Razorback. That's my campaign every day. That's my campaign now. I like this, like Jen Walters, superhuman lawyer at law, dealing with wacky weirdness. But I also do agree that while I love Dan Slott as Spider-Man, this is my close second favorite of Dan Slott's work. I thought he did a great job. But we're going to get to my complaint because, Steve, me and you have a similar complaint about the thing. We'll get to that in a minute. But I love the story. I really did. So, but
nice.
I saw a lot of that in the show, especially in the third episode. I was like, yes, because I remember when we talked about it, I was having a little disconnect issue, but now I'm feeling like okay, now like it clicked. I'm like, okay. I'm getting into this now. So
that's the trial of Emil Blonsky. So I mean that was the whole major subject matter, or at least the main storyline.
Right. That was the A story. And this episode had a really great B story, it turned out. Like, I loved the B story, too. I loved them both. I think it was the first time that the episode... So I still feel like the first episode is my favorite, and I know not everybody's going to agree with that, but I really did enjoy that first episode a lot. I love the stuff with her and Bruce. But this is the first time that I felt like the show feels like it's found a format that could work going forward, because the first two episodes were very different from each other and very different from this. But this feels like, okay... And we're here now. This is how it could work. I don't know if they're going to keep doing it, but I hope they do. I like the idea of episodic things that are going to be wrapped up in that, and that's the B story. But then the A story might take a couple episodes to wrap up, or it might come back around later. Obviously, we're going to see Titania again later. That was just a weird, brief introduction to her. But so I'll just to answer sort of what Drew was saying. So I read the first 6 issues of the Dan Slott stuff literally today. So I had never read Dan Slott before. Leo just asked me to be on the show yesterday, so I was like scrambling to do some homework. And I, as a big, obviously we covered it last week, I'm a big Byrne fan, so that was my introduction to the character. And after reading the first 8 Byrne and the first 6 Slott, I am far and away more a fan of the Byrne stuff. However, this is the comic to base the show on by far.
100%.
The Byrne stuff is so out there. It just wouldn't work. It's just too insane. People are already complaining about little things. It's like, oh well, yeah. And there are certain things that work better as a comic book. Just period. I mean, Alan Moore said that every time somebody made a movie out of one of his comic books. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't need to be adapted. It works in the media that it was created in, and that's okay. It doesn't not everything needs to be a movie to be a success. It's a success already. But yeah, it was really neat seeing Pug, and it was neat seeing, like you said, they alluded to the shapeshifter, who is now I know is Ditto. Lots of neat stuff. Very interesting stuff going on with her boss. I can't remember the guy's name, but the head. Hollis, there you go. And it's like, okay, well, are they going to do something similar here with what they did in the comics? Because that's really interesting. So it's fun. I am very excited to see where the show goes from here. So the trial of Emil Blonsky, what did we think of it as opposed to the first 2 episodes? Drew, you said it sounds like this is the first one that clicked for you a little bit.
It definitely did. Personally, I just need to say this: Wong is becoming my favorite Marvel character. Anytime
he's a delight.
I'm just like, yes, this is going to be fucking great. He clearly.
And just quick note, Drew. If anybody hasn't seen that actor, he did a miniseries on Netflix that he played Genghis Khan. Not to be missed.
Oh wow!
Brilliant in it.
That's Benedict Wong, right?
Yes, and I love that he always makes like guest cameos in shows I watch. Like he was in an episode of IT Crowd.
What We Do in the Shadows.
He was the necromancer in What We Do in the Shadows. I just love seeing him pop up, and he's just always such a delight. He was in he was the headmaster in Deadly Class. Heard he was that was great. It's just he's just so no chill, fun, just enjoying the role, and it's just great.
I think I would 100% agree with that to almost to a negative extent, because I think that I don't know how you guys felt about the specifics of his cameo, but I think it was a little on the lazy side. I would even say maybe a lot on the lazy side, but it almost didn't matter because I was so happy to see Wong. So it was like,
from what aspect did you feel that it was lazy, Steve?
Well, I think that some of the stuff doesn't really check. Like his joke about forgetting spells raises some questions. Why does he remember the forgetting spell? We assume he means the one at the end of, No Way Home, but it could just be, in general. He knows about them in general, and that's why he was piecing out in No Way Home, and he didn't want anything to do with it. Then there's I think the bigger problem, which was, we've been wondering since Shang-Chi, why was Wong and the Abomination fighting in this cage match? And then we very clearly see that they were buddies or something, and Wong teleports him back to his cell. And he's like, oh, remember, watch that left hook that we've been working on that, or whatever he says there. So it's like, okay, this was not a one-time thing. They've been working on this. And then the story in this episode was, I think, a little bit of a letdown to me. It's like, well, I needed him to train to be the Sorcerer Supreme, even though I was the Sorcerer Supreme for the previous 6 years, because this was after the blip, and he got the job after Steven blipped. So it's kind of weird, but I mean, it is what it is. Either they're going to explain it and he was lying, and there's way more to it than what he told us, which is what I'm kind of hoping, yeah, that's the story, and they're sticking to it, and it doesn't really matter and whatever. But it doesn't
I
It
just
was
wanted
great
to see your
seeing
take. I didn't say you're wrong or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just
You
curious.
didn't say
I
you
love
didn't say I was
listening to
Wong. I'm
Dork
not
really
Wong.
go
You're
into
not
it.
wrong.
None of us are Wong. Only Wong can be Wong.
I want to be Wong.
But yeah, he had some.
And even then, he's always
He
right.
had some great scenes, and right at the end when you were like, "Oh, well, you realize that you just did admit to a crime," and he's like,
Right. Peace out.
I'm out.
Yeah, see, that was funny. I mean, I enjoyed every minute he was on screen. It's just about not picking it apart, I guess, and stuff. But
And the subplot
overall, I loved the episode. I thought it was
and
great.
the subplot was fun too with the shapeshifter.
Yeah, the light elf from Asgard, and they riffed on the whole Doctor Doom's always getting immunity and getting away with everything in the comics. She's like, I have Asgardian immunity, and they're like, yeah, maybe in New Asgard that works, but that does not work outside of New Asgard.
Asgard is not a place. Asgard is the people, and the judge is like, Thor's speeches do not count as law.
Thor's inspirational speeches do not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That had me rolling a little bit. Like that was good. Even her calling out like, yeah, we're not doing cameo of the week, and they were like,
yeah,
wait a second.
I love that.
Let's remember who show this is.
Yeah,
again,
except for Bruce.
That
and Blonsky.
That's very
and Wong.
You know,
yes. I think what they've done is they've essentially inserted the Byrne fourth wall breaks into the Dan Slott run. And that's the show. That's like the best way to describe the show. And I think that's a great way of doing it because it does please old fans. Because seeing the first two episodes, I was like, oh yeah, this feels very Byrne. But now I realize it's much more Slott than Byrne. But yeah, you have those elements and it still feels right. So as an old fan, I'm pleased. And I mean, obviously not everybody's pleased, but we're geeks. We bitch about everything. So we can't have nice things.
Well, I think like John Byrne laid the foundation of this version of She-Hulk's personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dan's done a decent job of building off that, keeping similar comedic things without being too ridiculous and just trying to focus on odd law firm things, obviously, as this storyline goes.
Right. She's more quippy in this as opposed to like totally absurd, breaking all laws of physics and like knowing that she's in a comic and like all that absurd crap is just not present in the first, at least in the first 6 issues. But yeah, interesting stuff. We can get to the comics if you guys want, unless there's something else you want to mention with the episode.
But I just want to say, like, honestly, I want to address the one thing, and I guess everyone's like, I saw the scene with her.
Oh, the twerking, yes.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion. Honestly, it was there. If it wasn't in the show, I would be like, okay, cool, it's there. I'm like, okay, this is fine. Like, it's one of those. But I also see, like, did we need it? No, but it's there, and I'm like, all right, well, again, if you don't want to watch it, just move to the next episode. You see it, and if you love it, okay, cool. That's something you love, whatever.
Yeah, and it you know what it comes down to. I'm sorry, Jar Jar. I know you want to say something. It's like when you have an album, right? A new CD, a new whatever the kids are calling it today, a group of songs put out by an artist. I don't know what the right term is anymore, but when you have one of those and there's a bunch of songs grouped together, I'm just going to go with album, and you have one of those songs that really sucks and you really hate it. Now, are you going to like only bitch and moan about the one song, or are you gonna like the rest of the songs? Like, it's just one song out of like maybe 9 or 10 or 12. Like, does it ruin your life? Like, do you have to go blasting about how awful the one song is? Like, I don't know. It's really bizarre to me. It's like a 30-second scene. It's fine to hate it, I guess, but like, maybe just move on. And like, I don't know, the thought of complaining and making memes and like going on message boards and going on like, you know, Twitter and bitching about it and just endlessly, and these posts, they have like thousands of freaking responses and like half of them are for it, half of them are against it. And it's just like, we're talking about the 30-second freaking twerking scene. Like, oh, how far you have fallen, Marvel. Like, give me a break. Well, it's the dumbest shit.
it totally falls in line with She-Hulk's personality
Mhm.
in the comics. I mean, we've had
She's a
her.
party girl.
Wasn't she jump roping?
Yeah. The jump.
naked,
Yes. Yeah. The
and-
famous jump roping
Listen,
scene. Yes.
we don't have
Hooking up with
as far-
underwear models.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we have a huge incel people that are watching us. So you know, that just complaint is basically what that is. isn't it?
Completely ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, I have
Jar Jar, please.
kids that I watch this with, the oldest being 15, and I don't really know that celebrity or whatever, but they fucking freaked the F out when that person came on. They were like, "Oh my god, does this mean she's part of the MCU?" Blah blah blah. I'm like,
Well, yeah,
I
usually.
guess so.
Right.
But it was like,
Well,
who is she? What do I care for? But
And-
like the kid, but like I've been trying to get the kids to watch these shows with me forever and to really be interested into like the whole comic books and everything like that. These shows are really helping. Like
That's great.
to have somebody like my 15-year-old's like, oh my god, they do the WAP song. I know that song, but like other than that, that's like okay.
Well, She-Hulk told you she's Grammy Award winning Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, I don't know her music, but I'm aware of the name.
Yeah.
I'm not even aware of the name.
Okay.
I was like, I know the song that she does with Cardi B, the wet ass
Love
pussy.
song. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
But other than that, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm like, dude, She-Hulk's in a pantsuit in that fucking scene. I'm just like, are you guys really freaking out because a CGI 8-foot green person is like?
And
You guys got to seek out. Actually, my 15-year-old did this. They have the I forget the actress's name who plays She-Hulk, but her in her mocap,
Tatiana Maslany.
dancing with the other lady, doing the whole twerking thing.
Oh, like wearing the mocap suit.
Yeah.
So
What's
funny.
what's mocap? I'm sorry, I've been hearing that a
It's
lot.
motion capture. It's like when they
okay.
do for video games and stuff and CGI.
Yeah.
Got it.
So they have the performance from the actor. It's how they do any CGI character, like Gollum or
Yeah.
Right.
Caesar from the Planet of the Apes movies. If you see or anybody who's the Hulk, anybody who's CG, they look ridiculous. They're in these black polka dot suit. They just look absolutely or gray, and it's so silly.
Got like tennis balls for like.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just didn't know what it was called.
Mocap is the
No, we're
term.
gonna keep explaining it, Velvet. Shush.
But I mean, I just want to say, like, to all the people out there, to anybody who's ever had the thought that, because I've seen this so much online, like, so you're telling me she complains in the first episode saying she's got such a hard life, way harder than Bruce, because she gets catcalled sometimes, but here she is twerking. It's like, well, yeah. How are those two things not mutually exclusive? Like, she's literally, you're talking about the first thing. So she says way more than the catcalling thing. She literally was talking about her safety, which is what it comes down to. You get catcalled, it can mean that you feel unsafe. But anyway, the second thing is she was in her own office with a woman in a non-sexualized way. Clearly, she's just a big fan of this person, just having a good time goofing off. That's all it is. She wasn't. I mean, it's like as if they think they've made this big point. It's like they think they've made this point where the first thing she's complaining about getting attention from guys, and the second one she's doing that, and that makes her a hypocrite or something. It's like, no, she's not trying to get attention from guys. And the second thing, you morons, she's just in her office having fun with a friend. That's so incredibly not the same thing.
Girls actually do that too.
Yeah, girls can like have fun and do shit, and like it's totally fine. It doesn't all have to be about how we perceive them and how we are attracted or not. It's like not always
that
about
makes me feel funny in my hoo-ha.
No, your Jeremy's hoo-ha feels a little funny. So I just wanted to say that. I think that's really ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, it's a very quick scene, and you can definitely skip it if you really, really hate it that much. But so anyway, so Blonsky, I think just briefly before we move on to the comics, we're not really talking about Blonsky too much, but he was a very different Blonsky than saw him before he's more hippie, more of a
Yeah.
hippie Blonsky.
He looks
I
quite
love Tim
aged,
Roth.
I'd say.
Aged.
And
I would
it
say
kind of
aged.
makes sense, but it's also like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes, and this is my criticism to Marvel, and I think we've discussed this on the show. I know I've voiced this. I'm still kind of annoyed because I feel like Marvel constantly will go the comedy route with their characters instead of getting. But at the same time, comic books are easy to write a character who's still deep rooted in their rage after all this time and whatnot. When you think about it in real time, like, man, it's been like over 10 years. Like, if you're still mad, then go to therapy,
Yeah,
dude.
he's
Like,
been working on it. He's
You
been
know what that absolutely makes me think of when the Scorpion showed up in the Dan Slott run.
oh my god, yeah.
And he's just like, J. Jonah Jameson did this to me. I'm like, you are still only complaining about being stuck in the suit. That was like 63 or something. Like,
Yeah.
come on. There must be more to you than this.
Oh yeah. Like, but but I think that's the thing that I really enjoyed about She-Hulk is, Dan covered so many different topics and it was great. But
My
Steve,
favorite.
I have no problem sharing this. The one criticism I do have was the artwork. The artist, Dan gave him a lot, and I just feel like it was very basic.
I agree
Nothing
with
really
you.
hot.
Like you get the covers that are done. That's Ross's work, right? The cover.
No, that's Mike Mayhew.
Oh my god, it looks like Ross. But like, anyways, they're amazing covers, and then you open it up, and it's like bubble pop art.
Yeah, Juan Bobillo.
Juan Bobillo is the penciler, and boy, do I agree with you.
I can do, but
yeah. So, but we talked about this, and then like Paul Pelletier shows up, who I've seen. He's done a lot of DC stuff. He did, I think, the later half of New 52's Aquaman that Jeff Parker did. His stuff is very dynamic and it's very detailed. It has a kind of cartoony edge. Like this, it's just, I mean, sometimes it worked, but then sometimes I'm like, this should really
she just looked like weird,
very basic.
Yeah, she really has. I think my wife said it best was she said, "What's with the baby face and the baby hands?" And I think that really sums it up for me. I mean, she really has this very perfectly round baby face, and yeah, there are some really questionable anatomical shots of her. There are like her hands look like so wrong in a few of the pages. We're gonna get there. You guys can see what I'm doing, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did enjoy this.
The storyline starts off interesting, where She-Hulk is kind of out of control. She's going out every night. She's partying after being a lawyer all day. And at the same time, she's an Avenger, and she's living in Avengers Mansion, and she's bringing different guys home to Avengers every night, and she's driving poor Jarvis up the wall.
Yes.
So I mean, that's an interesting story just to start.
Yeah.
So Dan was definitely
here we have Jarvis, and I loved this actually. She's like kind of helping him with the chores in the same way that she was helping her dad at the end of episode 2. I was kind of getting those vibes. I don't know if that's really what they were kind of mirroring or not, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's again like what I really loved were these small moments. Like Dan is very good with small moments. Like I loved anytime Jarvis was there because it was just hilarious, especially when she brings her coworker and the Avengers system attached, and he shows up. He's got a pot on his head. And
that's great. That's later on. Yes.
Yeah.
Made for hose bushy and metal.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's just and again, like I said, the other thing that was great is that the show is very big that they want She-Hulk, not Jen Walters, but in the book it's the reverse. They want Jen Walters, not She-Hulk.
The firm,
also
right?
That, like Jen in the show, Jen wants to just be a lawyer, and in this, Jen wants to
be She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Correct. They
flip it,
switched it. Yes. Yeah.
And
I mean, this is a scene. I mean, this is very early in there, and
Yeah.
I mean, she's waking up the morning after. She's dating this supermodel guy
The
briefly.
underwear model. actually.
Underwear model, yep. And she wakes up and she's accidentally reverted back to Jen, which did happen in the first episode.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Oh crap! I'm gonna turn back before he notices." And when she does, she pops him off. She pops him off the bed, and she says, "Oh, sorry about that. Involuntary muscle spasm."
Yep. It was great. And then God, what yeah, and then there was the court thing that got her thrown, like, right, because she's clearly kind of abusing the Avengers.
Yeah, this is a different She-Hulk.
Which
This
is
is a different
strange because like she's already been hanging with the Fantastic Four, and like she's kind of like still kind of immature with her powers.
Yeah, this is a very devil may care, sort of shirking her responsibilities, not taking anything sort of seriously because she's so used to everything being so easy.
Yeah.
I think she's had it easy for too long at this point and has forgotten kind of the point of having powers. And she's also forgotten that Jen Walters can do things that She-Hulk cannot do.
Yeah.
She's just absolutely sure that being She-Hulk all the time is the right thing to do. And everybody wants her to be that, and everything is better. And who could possibly give a shit about Jen? And she learns that's just wrong. And I think that she's probably becoming a little bit insufferable. Certainly to Jarvis, but you're getting that tension from Captain America too. And
and also on top of it, we're seeing a She-Hulk at a completely different point in her career, and she addresses that. She dealt with being manipulated by the Scarlet Witch during Avengers Disassembled. She had a period where she thought she was going to be stuck as She-Hulk forever, and which they later address.
That happened in the original Fantastic Four run that John
I actually really appreciated that about this comic. They really referenced a lot of past moments with
Dan Slott really did his research,
right? Which is interesting too, because if you think again, going back to the show, when she's addressing Bruce, she's talking about his 10 years of trauma, but in the comic now, she's had the decades worth of trauma.
Yeah,
and it's just again. Like the whole thing was great, and it set it up so well. Nothing to me here felt rushed. Everything moved at a good pace. I feel like you didn't even need to read She-Hulk to understand what was going on, and to me, that's just good comics. You don't need to read the continuity. It helps, like our awareness because of our exposure to John Byrne. We're like, oh, okay, we get it. But I noticed there wasn't really a lot of her breaking the fourth wall, which is very.
No. I don't think it happened once. At least not in the first 6 issues, anyway.
No, it's very clearly a Byrne thing, and other comic people did adopt it. I do know I've seen it, but this was just, this was Dan's interpretation. Which,
right, for sure.
Totally
So I think this is interesting too, just talking about what we're looking at on screen here with this MODOK fight. This is what sort of replaced the 2-second Titania appearance at the end of episode 1, where she was in the middle of a case and then Titania bursts in, throws a desk at the jury, and She-Hulk steps in, saves them, punches her, and then it's declared a mistrial because they said that the jury would be biased towards her because she saved their life. And so then she gets fired, and then she gets hired at the other law firm, the GLK&H, which just looks like Glick every time I read it. And it's like Glick is what I say in my head. But in the actual comics, what happened was she was in the middle of the court case, which we saw over here. And then she gets a call from Captain America and her little Avenger earpiece here. And she's like, oh, sorry, I got to go. It just takes precedence. And the judges and the other attorney is pissed. And the judge is like, no, it's fine. I'll allow it. It's good, And then the next page, she's literally in space fighting MODOK and Blizzard, the D-lister from Iron Man, Blizzard. And I love her line over here where she she's trying to remember his name. She says, it's one of Iron Man's loser villains. What is it? Snowflake, Freezer Burn, Chili Willy. He's like, the Blizzard. I'm the Blizzard, you cow.
It was great.
But the same thing happens. She goes back to Earth, and the other firm declares a mistrial because they say that she influenced the jury because she saved Earth, and they're on Earth.
and like, don't forget, she also destroyed the color cop in her photocopying her butt.
No, she did that. Yes,
and it's like that could have been it was a color copy.
It was yeah, that was over here.
I have to say, my favorite part about this whole series.
This is one of the hand pictures that I really, really hated. Look at her hand down there in the bottom. Right?
Oh,
wow!
Oh, come on, man! Like,
wow.
You're a professional artist. What's going on?
Yeah, you can.
Some people can't do feet. Some people can't do hands.
Yeah,
apparently. But I think the other thing, and I really loved, and I don't know, Jeremy, if this is what you were going to address. I loved this idea that basically not only do Marvel Comics exist in Marvel Comics, but technically it can be used in court. Like, I'm actually.
Oh yes, so that's good to bring up. That's good to bring up.
I'm thinking of pitching that as an article to Screen Rant, because that is just too fucking funny. Because Dan makes a great argument. The code that was a federal.
The Comics Code of Authority. Yeah,
that was a federal organization. So they're all federal with all the stamps. They're all federal documents. So
we'll report. We'll get there. We'll definitely get there to where you're talking about.
That's what you were going to do.
This was that color copier.
Yeah,
bit you mentioned where she was getting laid off. Just in general, she's too much of a liability, but also she broke the copier and she was photographing her ass. And she's like, "How do you know it was me? It could have been anyone. It was a color copier."
Yeah,
work
in there, Disney.
And then this scene was also very similar. She goes to the bar and goes to get a drink. What I loved about this version of it is Blizzard shows up and he attacks her, and she just is done. She's like, can I just buy you a drink? Do you want to just have a drink over this?
Yeah, and they end up having a great time together.
Yeah. He's like, okay, sure. And then he wants to keep seeing her, and she's like, oh Jesus, no. But then they do the thing where she turns back and is drunk because of her metabolism. Yeah. Same exact thing. Same exact thing.
What's that, Jeremy?
Wait, I was saying she's wasted.
Wasted.
Pretty
cool. Love it. Very funny. I love that they stuck this close to this run. Very cool. And yeah, these covers are great. Like overall.
Oh yeah, Mike did.
They really are.
I did like this shot of Wanda. She looks pretty cool, I have to say. As much as I'm not a fan of the artist, I thought Wanda looked good.
I also love the Wasp giving her fashion advice.
Yeah,
pretty funny because people forget she was a model, So I was like, that's how nice. And then I think they even made us like, Jen is the only person who ever complained about dropping a size before going. I can't.
That's interesting because you think that Scarlet drop-in is for nothing, but you find out way later there actually is a reason for it, that they actually put that in with her casting the spell over Jen, so that no one can see her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If she's in danger as Jen, if anyone wants to harm She-Hulk, that actually comes into play.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. Cool.
At the end of the 12.
This was a great character.
Man,
you guys, you mentioned him earlier.
I love
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, Andy. And for those that have not read the comics, so the Mad Thinker had these androids, and apparently this one gained sentience, and the law firm actually got him a job being kind of like a gopher, and he doesn't speak, he just writes onto that little tablet, but he is a great fun character that they added to the this ensemble cast.
He's going to be like a Groot if they do put him out there on television.
Yeah, I hope they do. I think he would be a great addition. I mean, I would love to see Razorback because he was such a
Easily.
great side character from the Byrne era. But I do also accept that they're going for more Slott, but 90% Slott, 10% Byrne. And I'm like I said, I'm okay with that. I think it does make sense. It's more filmable. I'd be okay if we got, Awesome Andy instead of Razorback, and that was the direction. That's because it's a different purpose, right? I mean, like this is a goofy guy who shows up in the workplace and is funny for a second and then goes away. With Razorback, you're going to need to go on adventures. There's going to be a point. We got to go do something now. So it depends. It depends on what type of episode, what type of show they want to, make.
And if we could see the scene where he just wants to go to see the Mets. And
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's later. That is.
No, I don't know what that means. You gotta stay late tonight. You gotta
Oh
pull.
my god, that
was great. I felt so. And he gets home, and the guy recorded the Yankees. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, my dad's a Mets fan, and I want to show that to him, being like, see, Dad, someone gets it. Not me, but somebody. Oh my god! But I love the small moments in She-Hulk. Like, there's one panel that, like, again, these one panels are beautiful. I remember this. I apologize for spoiling it. It's Howard the Duck suing George Lucas.
Yeah,
for the
that was
failure of his
great.
work.
So you're gonna have to
me
tell me what
sequel.
issue that was. I'm not sure.
I can't.
Oh,
I
that's
can't
like
remember.
7 or 8.
It was definitely one of the Steve. It was definitely one of the Paul Pelletier issues because I remember it was crisp AF. I don't remember which one, but I just remember seeing that, and I was like, in that one image, I was like, I'm sorry, that's fantastic. Like,
it was not fantastic.
Issue 9 for that.
Like, oh my god,
Ben
But-
Grimm. I love that.
but
Ben.
that, and I'm sorry, if any issue was evident that Dan Slott would do great as Spider-Man.
That's a horrible Ben Grimm, though.
Oh boy, is it
Yeah.
ever? That is the worst. That is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
That looks more like an armadillo.
I can't believe. I mean, honestly, it's really
puzzle.
just the face. The body looks fine. The rocks look fine. The hands, he's got it all. His
That
face
face
is
is
just
like
not okay
rough,
at
yeah.
all. His Beta Ray Bill is worse, I think, but that doesn't.
Oh yeah,
come
that
up
was
till-
pretty horrible. I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
That was horseable. That's what that was.
Yeah,
Damn.
I mean, he literally just made him into a horse. It's like, no, he's supposed to be vaguely horse-like. I mean, come on, he's not a horse.
like
This was rough. I do want to try to find that panel with Awesome Andy that you were talking about where he was sad. We got sad Andy. That's a little bit later. This character, I can't remember her name. This redhead here. She
Book is her last name.
So yeah, was it Meredith Book or something?
Yeah,
like
and
that?
she shows up for a hot minute in episode 3.
She does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's the face that's never lost a case.
There you go. So she is on the show. Whether or not they're going to use her a ton, we don't know, but she looks very different. She looked to be played by a woman who is, I don't know, possibly Indian descent or Pakistani, maybe something. Definitely looked a little bit different, but she was this character, and looking forward to some possible headbutting between the two. Unfortunately, what I'm noticing is there's a lot of lag with this comic book viewer that I'm using. If I switch between the main view where I can see all the pages and when I go in, so I can, once I'm in it, I can easily kind of just keep going forward, but it kind of really has issues if I try to go back to the main section. So let's just kind of stick to where we are and kind of just keep pushing forward. I think we'll get to where we want to be. This was in the middle of a case I thought was pretty fun. This was a really good, like, this would be a good episode, I think.
If they won that like the way it ended was great, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, if that's for real, the dude's a douche.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, this Spider-Man issue killed me.
The Spider-Man issue was great. Awesome.
Yeah, where Spider-Man is going to sue J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh my god! It wasn't just suing J. Jonah Jameson. It was also having Spidey in the court And
I believe it's the next issue too. So if
it
we
is.
just
It totally
really
is.
just
And
get there.
This guy decides to kill his love. He's like, I'm gonna get to put it to death.
Yeah, for the previous episode. Yeah, that was like a ghost on trial, which is a great
That's a
concept.
great cover again. Like,
Yeah, this is a fantastic cover.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
again, Mike Mayhew.
and then you open it.
Yeah. No, I'm just not a fan. And oh my god, the Scorpion looks so horrendous. Oh, come on. His Spider-Man's okay. I'm okay with Spidey.
Yeah,
He looks
Spidey's
good.
not bad.
Like, looks good.
Like some characters, this person did all right. J. Jonah Jameson. I'm like, what happened to his head?
Pretty good.
Great job with Clint Eastwood right there.
Pretty good man with no name.
Oh
Like
my
I had him right off the back, but like, whoa.
Yeah.
So what we learn is that the shapeshifter Ditto that we alluded to earlier that they have on retainer, his job is to just deliver summons. So he's he shapeshifts into celebrities that he feels like that person would be welcoming to, and then he delivers the he serves the subpoena. So the way that the visual clue that it's the character Ditto is the bubble gum, and it's not really even that he's chewing gum, it's just kind of his body, I guess, because when he transforms he sort of is this pink bubbly thing and then he turns back into a person. But it's kind of funny. But so in this case, that's your visual clue that it's actually Ditto, not actually the man with no name from the Sergio Leone movies.
Yeah.
But so here we have Spider-Man is suing, as you guys said, J. Jonah Jameson for slander, for years and years and years of slander. And pretty cool. I like
Pug almost first asked her on a date.
I think that happened already, but I loved this so much because she just is not getting this at all. He's like, oh, I just assumed that you worked out as Jen Walters. And she's like, oh, why? He's like, well, because you're exponentially stronger as the Hulk. And she's like, yeah, but I'm already super strong as the Hulk. He's like, yeah, exactly. What does it say? He's like, but you're exponentially strong. It's like, you're as the She-Hulk, you have to lift so much for it to matter. It's like, there you go in the bottom. You can see how many weights she's using right there. It's like so funny. Like, duh. What are you doing?
Yeah, look at awesome Andy. He's like all zen-like on his head.
So good, so good.
Where you read up to, did that come back into play?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't.
Steve. Oh, because for the rest of us, that actually comes back into play, and she actually has to work out as.
Oh my God!
Okay,
I'm sorry. I need to interrupt. I just realized what Awesome Andy is doing in that panel.
Oh, is it a specific reference?
No, it just awesome? Even that. I didn't even notice it the whole time. He's
so good.
Doing the little zen.
On top of his,
so good.
He's on top of his head being zen.
Yeah.
I just realized that. I was like, wow, that is only Marvel.
So good.
Sorry.
But later on, Steve, she is fighting
the champion who is an elder of the universe.
Oh no, I haven't done
that.
To
defeat him, she has to work out.
Jeremy, let him read it, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, man.
I'm a jerk.
Okay. No. You guys can talk about it. It's fine. We're here to talk about the whole run. I just made it 6 issues in. That's no problem. We don't have to stop at number 6.
No, we're only up to 9.
But I will say you have to deal with more of that same artwork. So the story will carry you. The story will carry you, Steve.
Oh, good.
I have to say, usually like artwork like this will pull me out, but this story was so good. I way better than Savage She-Hulk. Like,
and honestly, the fact that Spidey looks so good is, I think, helping too, because he's such a central part of why this works and why this is a charming story.
Sorry. This panel always killed me. This joke? I'm sorry. This one was hilarious. Just it's because I'm black. But
yeah, that was hilarious.
He's like,
oh yeah,
that's why you've been abusive to me for all these years, because I'm black.
Yeah, and then it's just Jonah is just like, oh fuck. No,
I didn't know. I never would have. Some of my best friends are. Kidding. Sorry.
I was just like, wow.
Oh, Spidey, you card. You cut up.
I was just like, I can't. Like, it's just so good. And then they And then again, the story just totally flips it because it's like, okay, you're gonna sue me. I'm gonna sue Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he put
Yeah,
out some
Pug
false
is.
photos over
Yeah.
the years.
Okay,
Want some cheese with that one?
Pug
that
is
is
a bit of
the
a
dumpiest scorpion
Yeah.
that has ever dumped. Are you? I mean, come on. He's not a
Look at
stocky,
grumpy
slow-moving
She-Hulk.
tree. Look at She-Hulk, I know, but oh my god, his scorpion is so rough. Oh man, it's all coming back. Come on. I'm sorry.
It's Iron
Look, and
Man.
then look, he did Spidey great through the whole thing, and look at him there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, whoa.
What is he, a Muppet?
Yeah, not a fan of the art in this book.
It's okay, I get it.
But it is what it is, you know.
But
yeah, it was a really fun issue. Really fun.
Yeah, guys, as much as we're making fun of the art, this is not to be missed. This is a great story. Dan crafted this great story with funny things about the law and comic books and just comedic wonderfulness.
And you know, it's a bummer because I don't know if you guys read this, but they said that the writing team said they were all really big Spider-Man fans, and they really, really, really wanted to get Spider-Man onto the show, Tom Holland, and to have him be a part of the show in some way. And they just were not able to work a deal out, you know, or whatever. Obviously, things are weird. It's because Sony and all that stuff. Everybody knows all that. But yeah, this makes me really wish that they had, because you could have just literally filmed this one amazing episode, had it be Tom Holland, and we just got all this stuff with Jameson in the last movie. It literally would have been the perfect timing to do it.
Hilarious.
It would have been so good. So such a bummer that didn't work out, but this was a great issue for sure. And I love how she just convinces the Scorpion to like kind of stop and just let the trial continue because it's better for him. Jameson will pay more if he loses.
Logic, man. It's great.
Yeah.
Like she's learning that like she doesn't have to smash everything.
Right.
Well, this is a story of growth for sure.
Exactly.
Oh, see, here's our buddy Ditto down here in like mid transformation. He kind of just looks like he's bubblegum.
Yeah.
Just whenever he's mid transform, and then you see him on the right, and that's when he's taken his form, his human form. But yeah.
He started off as Mary Jane, and then he's been served.
Yes. So Spidey
bad drawing Peter Parker either. Like,
right.
Decent.
Yeah, kind of decent. Yeah.
But at the end, him and Jameson with the chicken suits. I was like,
oh yeah, that was good.
Don't say my name.
I'm J. Jonah Jameson.
He really
over. This is far from over. That law firm hasn't heard the last from me, or my name isn't J. Jonah Jameson.
It's 100%. Oh my god, that chicken suit's terrifying. I just again, I know it's sad, you know, that Paul clearly was crushing on Jen, and she just kept going for John Jameson, but they still worked, and it was cute.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a thing. I've seen this before when they make the audience clearly sympathize with a character, but instead of presenting the third wheel to the triangle, being like a heel that we clearly don't like, thus making the decision all the more obvious that we're like, yes, we reaffirm our original thought that the sympathetic guy that we're supposed to like is the correct choice here. Sometimes they make the other person really likable too. And John Jameson is super likable, and he's great with Jen, and he makes a lot of sense, and they both have powers, and they have history and all this stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I get it. Pug has a crush on Jen, but I don't think she really notices him in that way in any way, shape, or form. But it is kind of the sad puppy dog thing. But who knows where it goes? I don't know.
Yeah, Dan Slott working the CW.
Dude, does Pug get the... Well, I'm sorry, Jeremy.
Oh, so here we have the second artist that we've mentioned as being we really liked him.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look at it. The line work is great. Everybody looks stellar.
Yeah. Yeah, this is more what I would expect.
Yeah, and then the twist with Southpaw was just great, being connected to Wallace. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, this right here is a great panel. I mean, it's Jen and John Jameson, and they're catching up on a date, and they're reminiscing over the first time they met back when he was Man Wolf and she was fighting him. And you see she's wearing her tattered Savage She-Hulk garb there, which makes me assume that this happened during the Savage She-Hulk, but I didn't read the Savage She-Hulk back in the day, so I don't know. Can any of you guys confirm that?
I didn't make it that far.
Can I confirm nor deny?
Fair enough.
Nope, can't confirm.
This is a great scene. Also, she has this moment where a bunch of fans come up asking for an autograph, and she assumes it's for her, but it's actually John. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, it's kind of funny. It's been so long since I've been out as Jen. It never occurs to me that they're not for me. It's like kind of funny." Mm-hmm. But then she has this great little fight, and her and John both get to do stuff. But of course, John is not super powered here, so she's doing all the big stuff.
I was impressed with John jumping in front of that guy, and he's like, "Go limp."
Yep.
I'm like, dude.
Yeah, he's literally gonna just die and save this guy. And I gotta admit, this line was well done.
Yeah.
Nothing, Colonel. Heck, I catch this bus every day.
It was definitely, like, again, just the whole, like, again, I know we're coming close to an hour and a half, but also I have to say, this idea as a prison is
love it.
Genius.
Very cool. Tell us about the prison. Fantastic. Tell us about the prison, Drew.
So essentially, everybody imagine the Raft, the superhuman prison, but all the heroes are clearly depowered and itty bitty live in space. Tiny little Marvel villains.
Phenomenal cosmic power
for little people.
Kim particles.
Like,
how are they
that?
That's inside.
Who's the cutest little wrecking crew? You are. Yes, you are.
And speaking of, we saw them. They made their Marvel debut.
They sure did.
Thursday's episode, and I saw them, and I was like, "That's not who I think it is." I was like,
when I saw the crowbar, I couldn't believe it. Because the guy looks nothing like the Wrecker, so we're not thinking that.
It was not a great interpretation.
Yeah, I think we'll see where it ends up. We'll see where it ends up.
I feel like, exactly. Because I saw them, I was like, you guys already have the tools. How, like, the tools are supposed to allow you to like I've seen them fight, like Thor and the Avenger and stuff, and they can't even handle this. I was like, are you guys gonna get like juiced up further? Because I was expecting like, Wrecking Crew, not Wrecking Crew Junior.
No, it was definitely an underwhelming Wrecking Crew, but I was very excited that it was the Wrecking Crew, and I think that it's I think we're gonna see them be the more comic accurate at some point for sure.
Yeah,
we'll see.
But this, like, again, the little ploy,
I love this.
It was just so.
There's this Scorpion makes his second appearance in the series.
Yeah, it was funny. I'm not gonna lie. How they basically engineered a jailbreak out of the world's tiniest prison. And I was like, I can't deal with this.
Great idea.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dan.
This was truly great, and this would be an amazing. If they wanted to make this the season finale and make the whole point that a very specific villain like the leader made his escape in this way, right? And that was the point of the show, and it ends up.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, the final point of the show is that we sprung the leader, something like that. And also, I mean, any appearance of Mandrill really is a good one as far as I'm concerned.
A girl's nose
goes up a girl's nose. I'm sure there's a kink. Somebody was happy about that. I was not familiar with this character 8-Ball. Never heard of him.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I think that's from a Spider-Man thing, right?
Yeah, it is, and they're about as D-list as it gets, my dude.
Yeah.
He looks like he's wearing a Fantastic Four suit almost, and then he's got an 8-Ball.
I liked when he got.
It's Dragon Man, right?
Yep.
Dragon Man. Looks like Absorbing Man, Rhino. What's
Yep.
this guy's name? Ironclad. What's the girl? This hooded girl.
I don't know who she is.
I think they
Mirage
said her name at some point. I had never heard of her either. Fun stuff though. I love the this sort of reminded me of you guys remember in the mid 2000s, probably around the same time, I guess, maybe when they did the Avengers Disassembled and they had the big prison break. It was in the new Avengers, and they had the big prison break.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the Raft. Was it the Raft?
Yeah.
And they had like a mini fight with Purple Man. And like there was this great scene where like for 1 second you're like, oh right, Purple Man's like technically like should be a really big threat all the time, but they always come up with reasons for him to not be around. So no, he's just still in jail. He's not a threat because he's one of those guys that like, wow, yeah, no, he could really just rule everything. Like he tells you what to do and you have to do it. I loved that. It was such a great appearance for Purple Man.
And I remember in that same arc, they had a moment where they were apprehending Electro and they were threatening him and they webbed Luke Cage's hands together to beat the crap out of him. And he just faints.
The scene. Don't go further.
Yeah.
And he just faints. And Luke is like, you got to cut this off my hands. It's like, no, man, it'll dissolve in like 2 hours. I was like, what the hell? But this again, like Dan has this with these stories. He has these small moments that are so beautifully character that, again, it's like some comics they just focus everything is action. I'm like, listen, I love a good fight as much as the next person, but build the characters, you make them lovable. They find a fan base. Like I was like, he just wants to go to a Mets game, guys. Like, go with them.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't get it. And I'm like,
yeah, so he's coming into work. This is awesome, Andy. He's just coming into work, doing his thing, and coming into work, he passes due to the water cooler. Oh, like, okay, so watching the game tonight, New York Yanks or the Mets. He's like, oh, he's a New York fan. Okay, cool. And then at the end of the day, he's going home, and our Meredith book. She's like, can you do one more thing? And what you got anything going on? And he shows her the sign. And she doesn't understand, but we know that it means that he's looking forward to watching the game tonight. So it's this sad moment where she's just, ordering him around because he's just an android, surely. Mm-hmm. And but he's a person. He's awesome. He's awesome, Andy. So now he's sad and he's just okay, and he's just gonna do whatever she says.
Cue the Charlie Brown music. Like I said, like even if we just finish, because I don't want us to go further because 6 issues is good, but it's just fun. That's what I love about She-Hulk. She-Hulk is a fun book, and it's just great to just read that and be like, there was a time when Marvel was fun, and Marvel still can be fun. Same with DC. It's just
from time to time.
I don't think they're making books like this anymore,
and that's a shame. Now, Drew, with you being so familiar with Dan Slott, does he have other comedic runs, or was this it?
Well, this was pretty good. I know that there were definitely some good guffaws in his arc of Mighty Avengers, especially because he got to do Amadeus Cho and Hercules together, and that's always good. I mean, them on an Avengers team, come on. Mm-hmm. But then Spider-Man was pretty big. Then he did his arc on the Fantastic Four, his run on Fantastic Four, which I believe came to the end recently, and now he's coming back to quote unquote put an end to the Spider-Verse. So that's going to be interesting.
That's controversial.
But
I just want to point out in this panel that amidst the chaos that's going on, Awesome Andy took the time to write an exclamation point on his board. Just to let everybody know that he was also alarmed.
The little details. And that's the thing you got to wonder. Is that like a script thing or that's an artist thing? Either way, genius.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. I just love her taking out these pint-sized villains like, oh, tiger shark, here, I'm gonna throw you in a fishbowl. Oh, I have water, and then Electro.
Yeah.
Like,
And another great awesome Andy moment.
He's like, foolish woman, this water has replenished my strength. Prepare to meet your doom. She just dumps Electro in, and they zap each other.
And then awesome Andy just basically uses what Spider-Man used to defeat Sandman the first time. It was like, oh, you're made of sand? Vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, genius. Totally 100% genius. Love this.
Super funny. Awesome Andy is really fantastic. I think if they did bring him into the show, I think he would be universally adored.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, and then if that happens, we need a spinoff.
Well, yeah, I think we would get like a Groot spinoff, like the short adventures of Awesome Andy as he goes about his very banal existence, very menial, just normal everyday, just a robot guy with a block for a head. And then so here we get the payoff to the fact that Awesome Andy was once the Mad Thinker's minion, which we get to see the Mad Thinker is the genius behind this prison break here. And it's great. It's great what happens. It's really fun. It's also, like, I love this shot of the foot up here. Like, I like it when artists can draw different, like everybody rags on Liefeld for his feet and stuff. It's like, okay, well, how about drawing something like a foot, which is already hard to draw, from a crazy angle? Like, it always impresses me when artists are able to do that, and they specifically, like, that almost feels like a challenge to me. They're like, okay, I'm going to do this big elephant golem foot sort of a thing, this guy, this Awesome Andy, and it's going to be from this crazy angle that no one ever has drawn a foot from. Like, it's great. It makes a good panel. It makes for good comics. I love it when you're seeing things from crazy angles, and that's one of the reasons why I decided early on that I didn't think I really wanted to do comics. I can draw, but all my poses are like very standard. I lack the ability and imagination to swing the camera around to all these crazy places. So it always impresses me when you see stuff like that. Even looking down here on the Thinker, he looks so small, which is the point. He's at this point, he's shrunk. He's from the small prison. Pretty cool. Good stuff.
Like, again, the whole book is just great, and honestly, it was such a joy to reread it. And I loved seeing you guys saying like, oh yeah, this is a great, like Jeremy was like, oh, this is a great read, I love this, and I hear it in his voice too when he texts. So I'm like, hey, this was a great read. I really enjoyed the whole book. It was great.
Turned into Shatner or some shit.
Is that your Jar Jar?
Listen, I gotta clearly work on it. Okay,
you gotta throw a Misa in there, at least one or two Misas.
But seriously, like, again, the small dialogue, like he knocks out 8-Ball, and the thing he says is literally from the 8-Ball.
Yeah, like, reply, Hazy, ask again later.
So good. So I mean, honestly, because I feel like we should definitely kind of wrap this up a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna rate this. Personally, I'm rating this I'm giving this 4.5 Awesome Andys, because personally, this was great comic, fun, accessible. Anybody can read it and enjoy it for what it is. And I can't give it a full 5 because the artwork was not something that I would be like, oh my God, please. Like, if I saw this person at the convention, I would not. And Rich and Jeremy, you've seen, and actually even Steve, you've seen me in my suitcase. Like, I go in when I'm a creator. I would be like, I'm good. I'm fine. Like, I would compliment him, like, loved your She-Hulk, and then that's it. I was like, you have any? Nope.
There's that one panel you did.
I'm going for 4.5 Awesome Andys. That's my rating.
Nice. What about you, Jar Jar?
I'm gonna go. I was gonna go like a 4.8, but then Drew reminded me of how horrible the first like 4 or 5 issues art were. So I'm gonna have to go in at like a 4.25. I am gonna read the rest of the series, and I'm gonna find more.
Nice.
I'm going to read the John Byrne series too because Drew really recommends that. And Drew seems to be really on point with what he recommends.
Well, I want to point that I want to take credit for the Byrne. The Byrne unit is clearly the Samson, inheritance. So Steve is the
Rich. And Rich as well.
Yeah, Rich, yeah.
We go way back with that stuff for sure.
Grandpa Joker over here and the Metal Man, Metal Man Steve. But Dan Slott is all me. I made that recommendation.
Nice.
So I will take that. I will. So thank you, Jeremy. I feel bad when you're like, I hated this. I'm like, well, he's lost respect for me. Time to.
Fuck! I wish I.
Time to find new friends again. God damn it.
Well, this was great. Time for a new podcast.
Velvet, what do you think?
What's
your rating?
I really enjoyed. I loved the Byrne stuff, and I thought this was a great addition, add on to it. Even without the fourth wall breaks, I still think it solidified her character. But like all you guys, the art was not pleasant for the first 6. The second 6 redeemed itself a bit. So I'm gonna do 4 and a toid. I'm gonna add a toid because that first artist was a bit of a toid.
Nice. I'll say 3.5. I only got 6 issues in, so 4 of those had really not my favorite artwork. Obviously, we've ragged enough on that, but I liked it. I would like to keep reading it, and I had fun. And I think that it did take about 2 issues before the series really got going, which is kind of funny because some people have said that with the show. And like I said earlier, even though I kind of like the first episode best so far, I see the format of the third being the format that they should go with. I hope that they do. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the show. I hope that it continues to reflect elements of one and or the other, and also brings new stuff to the table, fitting, more with the MCU as it needs to, of course, as being a part of it. So without further ado, I guess we can kind of wrap it up and get out of here. Guys, do you generally do some final, hey, find me on the interwebs, sort of?
None of us really like that, so that's okay. They've seen the show many times before.
Oh, hold on.
So you guys know where you can find me. You can find me where you can find me, here every Tuesday night on Splash Pages, an award-winning podcast.
Everything Rich said. Find me. You know my links. You know where I am. I'm still very busy, so if you message me, the answer is no. I'll get to you eventually. And Jeremy's gone.
We've lost Jeremy completely.
But I will say, for those that have seen the show but not the Dan Slott run, I highly suggest you do it because it's very interwoven.
I did it. I fixed it.
And there he is.
All right, I'm going to be at Tidewater this weekend for the 9th, 10th, and 11th, so I have to do this, okay, guys? I know you guys.
What's Tidewater, Jeremy?
Tidewater Horror Convention at the Wyndham Garden Hotel in Norfolk, Virginia. There's going to be AJ Stone, Tom Glenn, Nancy Ann Ritter, Tom Matthews, Andrei Evchenko, Michael Hargrove, Ken Foray, or is it Foray? Anybody?
I think it's Foray.
I think it's Foray as well. And PJ Souls, Tony Moran, and more.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay, Jer.
So I guess we'll be looking for some videos from you this weekend.
And Box Comics.
Nice.
With the next.
Well, guys, I'll say thanks for letting me come on and attempt to replace Leo for one night only. Limited engagement. Here it was. Hope I didn't screw up too bad, and hope you guys enjoyed the show. As for me, Steve Van Samson, you can find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Look up Steve Van Samson. There is no P in Samson. I'm also on Twitter. You can also, I already said that. I'm also on Amazon. My books are on Amazon. I write books. I do this thing. So I have some horror books. If the concept of scary vampire books that take place in Africa in a post-apocalyptic environment sounds like fun for you, check out my books. I have a couple of them. I have The Bone Eater King, and I have the sequel Meridust. Also, The Mark of the Witchworm came out last year from Rough House Publishing, dark fantasy book. You can find it on roughhousepublishing.com and elsewhere on the web. But you know what? I have a new book coming out too, so I'm just going to plug that as well. Rich let me do it last week. I'm just going to do it again. I got a collection of my own short stories. It's called Black Honey and Other Unsavory Things, and that is also going to be released by Rough House Publishing, and we're going to be doing pre-orders within a month. They should be going online, so it's possible you may see me somewhere on the Dorkening, possibly promoting that as well. Or definitely on my show, which you should absolutely check out. Retro Redoctopus, please check us out. We have a fun show. We celebrate all the things that made growing up awesome. We do episodes on various topics. And this Thursday, in 2 days, we are going to be recording our brand new episode, which is all about how the fact that that cereals used to come with toys. We're calling it Free Toy Inside. So we're going to go through a bunch of like prizes that, you know, were famously in various cereals that we remember from our youth. And that's just the kind of show we do. We do weird stuff that we remember from when we were kids and all that good stuff. So,
What a pitch.
yeah, I you know, I do it. I do the pitch.
Have you on again, Steve, when your new book's dropping. We'll have to have you on. We'll have to give you the full formal interview process.
That would be wonderful. You know, Leo was kind enough last year when Mark of the Witchhorn came out. He was kind enough to have me let me take over. It was the Creator Spotlight, and we did the whole release party on Creator Spotlight. So, nice. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, maybe we can work something out. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll help you.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, we're good. It was fun talking She-Hulk with y'all. Do read the books. That's the wrong thing. See, I finally screwed up. I probably screwed up other times. I'll just put this up. She-Hulk Comic versus Show. I hope you guys enjoyed both weeks. It was fun being here. I will say
thanks for filling in.
No problem. Just guys, remember, everybody out there, fellow dorks and gamma radiated individuals, you know, be safe, take care, and may all the radiation you encounter be below the mutagenic threshold. That's what I would have to say. Be very careful out there.
All right, mutants out.
Peace.
Peace.
Okay.